a blade that could cut through iron like butter, a weapon so radiant it shone like a bolt of lightning. But despite its legendary status, Excalibur remains one of the most misunderstood artifacts in history. Was it really pulled from a stone? Who forged it? And why was its scabbard more powerful than the sword itself? This is the legend of Excalibur. Excalibur, a name that echoes through the ages, tied to the legendary King Arthur of Camelot. But like all great legends, its story has changed over time, blending elements from many cultures. Its origins stretch back to Celtic mythology, where magical swords were often bestowed upon heroes by water deities and mystical beings. Over the centuries, the tale evolved through medieval European literature, blending Christian themes of divine kingship and destiny. Influences from the Greco-Roman tradition of powerful, God-given weapons also shaped the myth of Excalibur, as it became a symbol of a hero's righteous right to rule. Particularly in the region of Brittany and France, the Arthurian legends took on new life, further embedding Excalibur into the cultural fabric of Europe. Today, we unravel the true myth behind the Sword of Kings, tracing its origins, its wielder, and the immense power it held. The origins of Excalibur are shrouded in mystery. Some say it was forged in another world and brought to ours by the magic of Merlin. Others claim it was a gift from the Lady of the Lake. But one thing is certain, Excalibur was no ordinary blade. The confusion begins with the famous scene of Arthur pulling a sword from a stone. However, this was not Excalibur, but another sword, which Arthur wielded until it broke in battle. The concept of the sword in the stone was first introduced in Arthurian legend around the year 1200 by Robert de Boron in Le Roman du Graal. In this version, following the death of Uther Pendragon, Britain was left without a king. On Christmas Day, nobles and knights gathered to determine who should rule. Before them appeared a stone with an anvil upon it, pierced by a sword. It was proclaimed that only the rightful King of Logres could remove the blade. Young Arthur, acting as a squire to his brother, Sir Kay, unknowingly pulled the sword from the stone when sent to fetch a weapon. Disbelieving that Arthur had accomplished such a feat, the nobles made him repeat the task several times, on Candlemas, Easter, and finally Pentecost, before accepting his legitimacy and crowning him king. According to Sir Thomas Malory's Le Morte d'Arthur, this sword was later broken in battle against King Pellinore. It was then that Merlin took Arthur to Avalon, where the Lady of the Lake gifted him a far greater weapon, Excalibur. Unlike the first sword, Excalibur was imbued with supernatural power, and its scabbard granted Arthur invulnerability in combat. These elements further separate Excalibur from the famed sword in the stone, reinforcing the idea that Arthur wielded multiple legendary weapons throughout his reign. King Arthur is, of course, the most famous wielder of Excalibur. The sword was more than a weapon. It was a symbol of his divine right to rule. Legends tell us that its edge was supernaturally sharp, capable of cutting through iron or a feather with equal ease. Some say an inscription was carved into its blade, Excalibur always for God and King, or even take me up on one side and cast me away on the other. Beyond Arthur, there are theories that Excalibur, or swords like it, may have been wielded by other figures. Some scholars believe it could be linked to earlier myths of legendary Celtic warriors who possessed supernatural blades. Others speculate that historical warlords may have inspired Arthur's legend, carrying real swords of immense craftsmanship. Could Excalibur have been an early symbolic representation of leadership, its power rooted in historical weapons passed down through generations? The allure of Excalibur has never faded, inspiring generations to seek the legendary blade. During the Middle Ages, knights and rulers alike embarked on perilous quests, driven by the belief that possessing a weapon of such power would secure divine favor and unassailable authority. Many noble houses claimed descent from Arthur himself, asserting that a connection to Excalibur proved their legitimacy. Beyond the royal courts, secretive orders and chivalric societies often spoke of hidden relics, of which Excalibur was the greatest. Some tales suggest that during the Crusades, warriors searched for remnants of holy power, hoping that a recovered Excalibur could tip the scales in their favor. In more recent times, treasure hunters and even modern archaeologists have combed through ancient sites such as Glastonbury and Cornwall, fueled by the tantalizing possibility that the sword might be hidden beneath layers of myth and time. These searches, whether driven by genuine historical inquiry or the thrill of the legend, underscore the enduring fascination with Excalibur, a quest for something that represents the ultimate fusion of myth, history, and divine destiny. If you're enjoying this page of the Codex, remember to subscribe down below for more like it. If you have an idea for the next video essay, please reach out with a comment down below so we can check it out, because we love you and we want you to be involved as a community. Now back to the video. Excalibur was not merely a masterfully forged weapon. It was steeped in magic. Its blade was said to be so keen that it could cut through any material, symbolizing the power to overcome any obstacle. However, the true secret lay in its scabbard. Unlike ordinary coverings, the scabbard was reputed to have magical properties that protected its bearer from mortal wounds, halting the flow of blood and rendering the wielder nearly invincible in battle. Many legends describe the scabbard as adorned with mystical runes and divine symbols, imbuing it with an almost sacred aura. In some versions of the story, the scabbard was even considered to be a relic in its own right, a piece of armor granted by the gods. The duality of Excalibur was the following: its offensive power in the form of the blade and its defensive might in the form of the scabbard. It reflects a broader theme in myth. True power lies in the balance between destruction and protection. Other tales recount how the magical properties of Excalibur were tested in battle. In one account, a formidable enemy armed with dark magic met his match when confronted by Arthur, whose mere presence with Excalibur seemed to repel evil. The sword's light was often said to drive away shadow and despair, symbolizing hope in the face of overwhelming odds. This blend of martial prowess and supernatural safeguard helped solidify Excalibur's reputation as a weapon not just for war, but for the righteous defense of a kingdom. Excalibur's influence extends far beyond the medieval battlefield. Over the centuries, its legend has permeated literature, film, and even video games, shaping the modern image of the heroic sword. The archetype of the chosen sword, a weapon imbued with destiny and requiring a hero of pure heart, can be seen in everything from The Legend of Zelda's Master Sword to the gleaming blade Andúril in The Lord of the Rings. In many ways, Excalibur set the template for the fantasy genre. Its story of divine right, magical protection, and ultimate sacrifice resonates in modern storytelling, where the hero's journey is often marked by the discovery of a mystical weapon. Beyond entertainment, the legend has sparked academic debates and historical research, with scholars poring over ancient texts and archaeological sites in search of evidence that the myth may have roots in reality. Even secret societies and modern chivalric orders cite Excalibur as a symbol of noble ideals, demonstrating how a single legend can inspire countless reinterpretations through the ages. Today, Excalibur remains a potent symbol, a reminder that myths, while perhaps not literally true, capture timeless truths about honor, destiny, and the eternal struggle between light and darkness. After King Arthur was mortally wounded in the Battle of Camlan, he ordered one of his knights, either Sir Bedivere or Sir Gerflet, depending on the version, to return Excalibur to the Lady of the Lake. This moment is crucial, as it symbolizes the end of Arthur's reign and the passing of an era. Excalibur is more than a relic of ancient myth. It is a living symbol of destiny, heroism, and the eternal quest for justice. Its legend endures because it speaks to the human desire for greatness and the belief that true power is both a gift and a responsibility. Whether the sword lies hidden in a forgotten lake, exists as a metaphor in our stories, or awaits a future hero to wield it once more, its influence persists. In the end, Excalibur challenges us to reflect on our own values and the nature of leadership. It reminds us that greatness is not measured solely by strength or victory, but by the capacity to inspire hope and defend what is just. As long as legends are told and dreams are kindled, the Sword of Kings will continue to shine, a beacon for all who dare to seek the extraordinary. If you made it this far in the video, we think you probably liked it. So please make sure to subscribe to get a steady stream of endless historic and mythical lore. It will only take you a second. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you next time.